is very suspect about it being controllers.
Controller and get
Everything is sensitive. I mean, you can see the record practically stopped on the almost computer. Because there's not enough money, that's unbelievable. Look at all these people. You know, in the building, influence to the devotees. This POV is a big chance to know. You get this thing done. Because he's way ahead on understanding a lot of things. I mean, there's a few points, because he's so technical and scientific, there's a few points that are definitely discussable and debatable and maybe even seen from a different angle, but he's pretty sharp. And he chants like 64 rounds a day, every day for years. And he teaches people how to overcome inattention. He has a whole seminar on how he sits people down and gets them back on attentive chanting. It's very systematic on how he does that. I was working with him on that for a long time. Yeah, I endorsed and also contributed to his first book, The Rising Sun of the Holy Name. And then he did part two. Somehow he got in trouble with part two. I didn't get involved in that one though. Okay.
Hare
Take it away.
Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna, Guru. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, verse number 13. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your time and association.
Looks like we lost a lot of people when we changed the time.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. I'm sharing my screen for the verse. Yeah. I'm putting a reminder on the group to join. Hopefully, devotees will join.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anshikopa Dubhishcha Kipa Sindhuve Vacha Itanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, verse number 13. This starts off a very interesting discussion between Maharaj Parikshit and the personification of religion, the bull. So please stay with these series of verses. They're very, very instructive. Akyahi Vrishabhadram Vaha Sarunam Akrita Gasam Atmavayarupya Kartaram Partanam Kirti Dusanam. Translation. O bull, you are offenseless and thoroughly honest. Therefore, I wish you all good. Please tell me of the perpetrator of these mutilations which blacken the reputation of the sons of Prithu. Purport. The reputation of the reign of Maharaj Ramachandra and that of the kings who followed in the footsteps of Maharaj Ramachandra, like the Pandavas and their descendants, are never to be forgotten because in their kingdom offenseless and honest living beings were never in trouble. The bull and the cow are the symbols of the most offenseless living being because even the stool and urine of these animals are utilized for the benefit of human society. The descendants of the sons of Prithu, like Maharaj Parikshit, were afraid of losing their reputations. But in the modern days, the leaders are not even afraid of killing such offenseless animals. Herein lies the difference between the reign of those pious kings and the modern state ruled by irresponsible executive heads without knowledge of the codes of God. How do you go? Om Gyan Timidandasya. Did you see her?
Yes.
Okay. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gyanajana Savakaya Chaksu Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruveni Maha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharina Nivase Sasunyavadi Pastyapya Devasatan Nivanshakaupatarubhischa Vipa Sindhu Devacha Pitanam Bhavabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yeah, there's a comparison being made between the kings of yore who were Rajarsis. They were Raja Rishis. They were kings, rulers, Kshatriyas, and at the same time, they were very carefully ruling under spiritual and religious principles. Their pride was their ability to deal with any problems that would come upon the citizens which would interfere with the happiness and welfare and spiritual practice of the citizens. And they were very diligent to make sure none of these anomalies would come into their kingdom. That was their pride. They were very astute and very diligent and very determined to rule in a complete God-conscious way. Nowadays, as it says here, the descendants of, they were afraid of losing their reputations. That was one of the reasons. But besides that, they were moved by the compassionate nature of giving protection, care, and guidance to all their citizens in the best and most human way that was needed for people to advance. Nowadays, it says here, Prabhupada says, the rulers are irresponsible and they don't care, they just kill animals indiscriminately. And they exploit the citizens for whatever they can get, as long as they can remain in power. So here is a dichotomy. But the essential principle here is Maharaj Parikshit is asking, tell me of the perpetrator of these mutilations, who has done this to you? Who has offended the codes of religion? Who has broken the codes of religion? And who has caused such, we say, discrimination and damage to true religious principles? So this is the beginning of a dialogue between Maharaj Parikshit and the personification of religion, dharma. And so here, which is one of the main points in this verse, is that the cow and the bull are symbols of the most defenseless living being. But the stool and urine of human beings is very abominable, and it's thrown away and hidden underground in various types of things they call septic tanks and recycled into the earth. But although they're animals, their stool and urine benefits human society. So that says a lot of the quality of these living beings. We always think, well, the humans are superior. They are in terms of intelligence. But in contribution to the society, we find that the humans have a tendency to deviate from their role within society and become an anomaly on society. For such animals as the cows and the bulls are always providing benefits in different forms. The Prabhupada wants to illustrate how beneficial they are by saying even the things that are considered to be abominable are used for benefits of human society. And it says, just to illustrate this point, many of the doctors who are Ayurvedic doctors, they prescribe cow urine for various types of ailments. Of course, that cow urine is distilled and then it's given to the humans. I remember I had a physical problem, and one doctor gave an analysis. He was an Ayurvedic doctor, and he prescribed cow urine as part of the cure. And there are people who regularly take cow urine for rejuvenation, for health. Of course, it has to be done under proper guidance because you might not be able to administer it in the right way. But once you know the system, it can be done regularly. And the stool of the cow and the bull contains all what we say nutritious qualities in the sense that it's high in niacin and iron, and cow dung has been extracted some of these minerals and ingredients and used in various medicines. So this is how beneficial. And of course, in the sake of worship, when we take part in doing the abhishek of the deity, we use what is called pancha gavya. Gavya refers to the cow. Pancha means five. Those five solutions that are produced by the cow: milk, yogurt, of course, cow dung, cow urine, and ghee. Milk, yogurt, ghee, cow dung, and cow dung and cow urine are used regularly for worship in many of the ceremonies according to the Pancharatric system of worship accordingly. So what can we say? Now, modern society considers these animals to be just food or some kind of economic benefit for a select group of people who have control. So they don't care, and they'll never care because they have no understanding, nor do they, even if they were given all the understanding, their greediness for material profit, everything is based on money. Prabhupada also made that statement quite clearly. He said the whole Western society is situated on a false foundation, and that is money. Money moves everything. Money is the goal. Money is the thing that everyone is after. If you don't have enough money, then you have to get it. And sometimes you have to get it by illegal means, just to survive. And people think of different ways to get it, keep it, and use it for whatever they need for livelihood. And then, of course, there's those who want money simply to pad their greedy, lusty desires and become what you say rich within the world. There are people who are so rich that it's. I was just listening to one report today. There's one company that's worth $1.5 trillion. And that company is, it's like there's only two countries that have a gross national product that is GPM that is bigger than that, and that's China and the United States. So this company is third in the world with wealth, 1.5 trillion. So, and it's just growing more and more. So we see that greed is a very sickening disease. It's a disease that destroys all good qualities and causes so much calamities in the world. As we understand from Shastras, greed is one of the most horrible qualities that the human being can adopt in spiritual life. And those who are intelligent, they understand, be satisfied with what comes by way of natural arrangements and a little bit of effort in that direction. And devotees are always satisfied and always, they're not greedy for more money and work so hard just to stockpile money and trying to keep up with the rest of the world. The devotees try to live simply and take whatever they need. They're not greedy, but at the same time, they require some financial security in order to live. But they're happy by whatever Krishna arranges by a little bit of effort. One minute. Hold on. Hmm? Hmm? Hmm?
I'm gonna go back out. Would
You're gonna bring some right?
you like some?
Spaghetti.
We have
Yeah. Bring it. I'll have them deliver it. You can bring it's hot.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, not an hour before. Yeah,
What time do you?
Around 8:15. Okay, sorry about the break. Yeah, and so devotees have to be careful not to plug into this mood of greed, which is so much prominent in the world today. But people are never satisfied with whatever they have, and they always want more. More, this leads to wanting more and more because material things cannot satisfy. And then, of course, we have the society which is pushing people in that same direction and forcing them to act in the same way, to become more and more avaricious for material gain. And that will destroy one's spiritual acumen or spiritual consciousness. Devotees have to learn to be satisfied. For grihastas, those who work in the world and have family responsibilities, a little effort in that area, and then just live within the range of what is needed. If we try to keep up with the rest of the world with all of its, modern amenities and all of its plans for expansion, we'll get drowned in this struggle to somehow survive. And so therefore, one should be very intelligent to see how to live life in such a way that they don't fall into this cycle of struggling simply to attain material things and money in order to get material things or stabilize one's material existence. Devotees, that will cause one to lose their connection with the mood of devotional service. When we somehow find ourselves struggling in this arena simply to get more and more based on how society is pushing us in that same direction. simple living, high thinking. Sometimes we use the cliche in a reverse way, um, high living and no thinking or no time to think. I won't mention any names, but I just received a letter just recently. One family, the devotee was a disciple, and he was saying, yeah, struggling to keep up with all of the needs and I wasn't able to keep up with my rounds. I have practically no time to read. And he's going down and he's feeling the pressure of this artificial lifestyle where people years ago didn't have that problem. This is just a modern problem based on a modern industrial technological society, which puts things over people. Things seem to be more important. Your prestige in the world is really judged by how much you have and what positions you have within the society. But based on spiritual values and principles, your worth is based on what is your character, how much you are developing your love and devotion to the Supreme Lord, and how much you'll work for the benefit of others in the same way. Not how many big cars you have or how many garages you can store all of your stuff in. These are just botherations that come by way of plugging into this Western materialistic lifestyle that causes us to struggle unnecessarily. Cows and bulls, we talked a lot about that in the last few discussions online here. We've mentioned what are their benefits, but nowadays we don't even see them. Where are they? All we see is cars and stores that are cows and bulls. So yeah, we have to somehow or other understand, well, what is the goal of life and how to achieve it, and how to get rid of the unnecessary activities which are forcing us away from that goal of life, simply to work hard for material amenities. So yeah, and here we see the personification of religion, Dharma, is standing on one leg. Three of the legs have been broken. That's why it says here, who is the perpetrator of these mutilations? Preeti Maharaj is saying that Dharma is no longer stable. There's only one leg left, and that leg is austerity is gone, mercifulness is gone, cleanliness is gone. The only leg left is truthfulness, and that's also being challenged by lying propaganda. So we of course, as Vaishnavas, we always pray that soon maybe some person will arise as some figure within the world will bring more of a Krishna conscious lifestyle to people. But we have the process within our hands, and that is the Harinam Sankirtan. We have to understand that we can solve and also grow in our spiritual life simply by emphasizing the whole process of Harinam Sankirtan. It's not just chanting japa or doing kirtan. It's actually purifying the whole atmosphere and pushing back the effects of the age of Kali. The holy name actually creates an environment within the atmosphere to purify all of the negativity and bring about the presence of the Lord in transcendental sound vibration. One cannot overestimate the glories of the holy name. One can only estimate the power of the holy name. And as Srila Prabhupada very repeatedly mentioned, that all problems, no matter what they are, material, spiritual, or combination of both, whatever, uh, can be overcome by the chanting of the holy name. Even when you're sick, if you chant the holy names, you'll find that your consciousness starts to rise above that sickness, and you can also energize the body through the power of the holy name, wherein actually one starts to decrease the effects of material suffering through the chanting of the holy name. Of course, that's not the goal, but it's also part of the glories of the holy name. So one who chants seriously, regularly, not just 16 rounds, as Srila Prabhupada said, 16 rounds is just the beginning. Srila Prabhupada understood the power of the effects of Kali Yuga. And his Guru Maharaj, especially Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who also recommended more and more chanting. When Prabhupada started the movement, he said 64 rounds. But how many of us can do 64 rounds? Especially in our busy lifestyle today. But even 32 becomes difficult for many. But we see that now 16 rounds sometimes is an austerity for many of us. We are not inclined to chant. We are inclined to do things and see results in our life based on what we do, not on how much we are actually chanting and going deeper into the quality of that chanting. Because that is the source of life, and it energizes both spiritual and everything, because everything centers. There's a statement that is very interesting statement that Srila Prabhupada has injected within one particular purport in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, you can think about this, he says, by chanting the holy name, one can synchronize all stipulated energies from all sources. By chanting the holy name, one can synchronize all stipulated energies from all sources. In other words, you become the center of existence when you are chanting the holy name, because you are associating with the center of existence, Krishna himself, through his transcendental name, which is non-different from him. So that's an interesting statement. We have the example of Dhruva Maharaj, who was chanting, and that in his age, he was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the Acharyas, along with Srila Prabhupada, have said that in the age of Dwapara Yuga, that was the Maha Mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I worship the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, who is situated everywhere. That's the translation. And Dhruva became so powerful in his austerities and in his chanting and his absorption in the transcendental form of the Lord within his mind and heart, that he actually became the center of the entire universe. And all of the demigods, they were being affected by the fact that all the energy in the universe was now being diverted right into Dhruva Maharaj. He became so powerful. And Prabhupada gives a nice analogy how that's understood on a practical level. He said, if you are in an airplane and you're going 700 miles an hour, that's quite fast. Are you going 700 miles an hour? In one sense, yes. In another sense, no. And the fact is you're connected with that vehicle, and that's going 700 miles an hour, and therefore you're going 700 miles. When you connect with the holy name of the Lord, you're rising above and you're developing all of the qualities and the energies that are situated within the holy name itself. You're becoming a recipient of those energies that are made up of the absolute truth, Sri Krishna himself. Therefore, it says that one who's chanting the holy names of the Lord are completely transcendental to everything that's happening in the material world. So, yeah, this point is very important to understand, because in the absence of a powerful leader who is leading on religious principles or even moral principles, Krishna has come personally to uplift the entire world through his name. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has delivered that name personally into the hearts of his pure devotees, who are taking great effort to distribute it everywhere and anywhere. So take advantage of that and don't consider just, well, I have my rounds, I get it done and pass, that's all. That's not the proper understanding of one who is actually looking to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, or looking actually to achieve the goal of life. The holy name remains the most foremost of all of the activities, and it awakens all knowledge and all good fortune for the living being, because it is Krishna himself. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Punya Sudya Nitya Mukta. It's pure, it's eternal, it's not part of this material world. It is liberation in itself. Abhinna Tvam Nami Nami Nam. It is non-different than Krishna. It is Krishna himself and so. Just like Bhagavatam is an incarnation of Krishna in the literary form, and the holy name is the incarnation of Krishna in transcendental sound. The incarnation of Krishna in the form of material elements is the deity. The deity manifests himself apparently within material elements, but material elements are not the deity. It's just the way the Lord appears in this world. That's also non-different in the Lord. So the Lord has appeared in so many different ways. And even to take it one step farther, in prasadam, when it's offered with devotion and accepted by the Lord in this, that prasadam is also non-different from Krishna, transcendental foodstuffs. So there's a lot of mercy available. So we have to take advantage of that mercy and use it for our spiritual development. If we say we don't have any time, we're too busy with our material affairs and material duties, then we will miss the opportunity for eternal life and have to again, come back into this material world, and we don't know who we're going to be. And again, go through the whole process again, hopefully coming to meet devotees and again going through the process of purification. So why waste time? Here's a good opportunity. Kali Yuga is a very difficult age, but as it says, Kalir Dosha Niti Rajan Asti Yako Mahavin Kirtana Evi Krishna Mukta Sangam Param. There's that bright light in this age. And it's bright. It's so bright that all of the darkness is dissipated. Just like this world is dark. The only thing that gives light to this world is the sun. And of course, we've developed this artificial light known as electricity, which is coming from the atmosphere itself, and it's channeled into various types of mechanical industrial machines in order to produce this artificial type of light. But the sun is the real light. Otherwise this world is simply cold and dark. No life can live here without the sun. That's a fact. Even if there was no sun, your artificial electrical bulbs would be able to do anything here. So the sun is not part of this world, it's coming from outside. It's the eye of Krishna who's manifested itself as the life within this world. So in the same way, this holy name is the life of transcendental knowledge and transcendental happiness that comes by way of Krishna in the form of his holy name. It's coming from the spiritual loka, the spiritual world. Golokera, Premadana, Harinam, Sankirtan, Ratinjan, Mila, Tena, Upaya. So it's not part of this world, it is coming from the spiritual world. It's like the sun is not part of this world, but it's giving light, heat, nutrition, and happiness to everyone. Simply the holy name is descending from the spiritual world into the hearts of the devotees who are purified in this world, and they are distributing that mercy everywhere and anywhere. The gopis have come become tapta jivanam, a beautiful verse from the 10th canto, describing how merciful those great souls are who wander around the world simply giving mercy to the fallen conditioned souls. They have no other concern other than bringing Krishna's mercy into the lives of the fallen, struggling human culture. And they are the best of all people because they represent God and also are seen as the Lord's mercy manifestation in this world. Okay, so this discussion is quite, you find, stay with this. It ends in a very almost amazing statement by the bull itself, which when you hear that statement, you'll think, wow, what does it actually mean? And then it's explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Yeah, we are eagerly waiting for that point where we will see that the statement given by the bull. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. Maharaj, while others are thinking, I have a question like, as a grihastha and living in this world, there is a lot of competition out there for everything, like as you said, for the job and material things and everyone. So how to get it or not affected by the peer pressure? How to be situated like that, Maharaj?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, you need association. Association will give you strength how to work it out, and at the same time give you understanding and how to adjust things where you can somehow maneuver your way through this what we say maze of material attacks coming from all corners of society, even from your own friends and family members. So yeah, association with devotees, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and again, chanting the holy name will give you the strength and understanding how to move forward and not get mired in by these so-called imposed forms of duties that have been situated upon us by social, economical, and political agencies within the world. Of course, the solution is back to the land, simple living, high thinking. This is what we've been talking about. But in the transition stage, still you have to live where you are now it's good if you make the transition, or at least plan to make that transition. And maybe more and more, what we say, what's the word, necessary as time goes on. I just saw a very horrific video today about AI and artificial intelligence, how it's actually taking over the world in a very powerful way. And people are not even aware of it, how it's working. So that's another plan of the demons in order to control the world through artificial intelligence. First, they applied it to getting things done on the political and corporate level, and now they're using it to control human beings. There's a very strong, but all of these things are insignificant when we take shelter of the holy name in the association of devotees and work according to Srila Prabhupada's direction for our society. Of course, that's a general statement. How to do that requires a lot of discussion. But we have to really come to the point to understand that materialistic society is simply an oppression upon one's happiness. It's simply forcing people into a lifestyle where they have to struggle just to live. And that's a plan. It's not something that is just happening. It's actually planned like that.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah. By living in this cities and like this environment, we are teaching our kids also to struggle for existence and also getting them into the peer pressure and also comparing with others. So all these things are coming up with the kids.
What will it take us to wake up when everything collapses, and then when it becomes impossible, and then when you get pushed down so far, and then you realize you're in trouble.
Mm.
Well, why wait for that statement? Prabhupada has given us the directions on how to live, how to rise above it. It takes community, not individual families struggling alone. You may be able to do something on that level, but you can't really survive unless you have community.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah. Thank you so much. Did you please any questions? You can turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you.
I'm still here. Just keep asking your questions.
Yes. Maharaj, when you are telling about simple living, high thinking, transitioning to the farm communities, so some devotees' opinion is like, why don't we live in the cities and preach to the Western people, or we are losing the opportunity of preaching to others when we are transitioning, or when we are living out aloof from outside the cities. We don't get opportunities to preach to other people around us. So that's their opinion, Maharaj. Like I heard some of them saying that. So
what is the question again? Can you rephrase it?
So if we are living in farm communities away from the cities, so we don't get the opportunity to preach to the Western people here or anywhere, even if India or here or anywhere. So we don't get in touch with other people much, and how can we preach?
That's not Prabhupada's program. Prabhupada's program was for every city temple, there should be a farm community. And he said the grihastas can live on the farms. The sannyasis and the brahmacharis can go in and out and travel around between the farms and the cities, and also continue preaching within the cities. But living in the cities going to be impossible. That's the whole thing. The cities are becoming very oppressive and forcing people into these to struggle in order to just to get the basic needs and to live. Just to travel, the highways are crowded with cars, fuel prices are going up, food prices, and just the chaos of that type of lifestyle just causes one to want to get out of there. It's just, the people have accepted it. I mean, I travel and sometimes I see we get stuck in these traffic jams for hours. Can't even move. And people are walking faster than the cars. It's so bad. So we've created this what we call destructive city. All of aesthetic and moral principles and spiritual values have been crushed by this artificial lifestyle. But somehow the devotees are surviving because they're chanting and somehow. But I find the devotees are struggling on the material level. So yeah, you can make community even within a more urban environment. The community is where the support comes.
Mm.
Support and inspiration and that association that gives guidance and purification. If we can't live as a society together, then what are we doing?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Yeah, I understood. Sridevi Mataji, I have a question. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Srimati. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, on this point of artificial intelligence and the destructive program of the demons, it is very much clear that somehow or the other we must try, at least we must make an attempt. So what if a few devotees got together, bought some land, and started taking care of mother cow on that land, and just making a beginning like that, even though we may not know so much about farming or agriculture, just taking care of mother cow and her presence on that land, will it just bringing auspiciousness in the form of taking care of her like that? Would that be just like the first baby step towards moving to that lifestyle, and then Krishna will give intelligence and resources and abilities to move forward?
Sounds good, but it's not practical. What are you going to do for food? Prabhupada said, in all of the attempts for simple living, agriculture is unmattered. Care comes after agricultural developments. Now we have to feed the humans and the animals.
So that means the first step must be to grow our own food.
Yeah, that's number one. Yeah, because that's your livelihood, that's required, that's needed, necessary.
But we are not trained in farming. We don't know anything about agriculture. So how do we make?
Then you make a community with people who do. Just like I was just watching that, I saw it about a month ago, this film called The Biggest Little Farm. You mentioned it. They had the same ideal. They wanted to go back to the land. But when they got there, they realized there was so many things that they needed to do to cultivate the land. And they didn't even know how to do it. They had to get advice. There was one person that just appeared in their life and was able to give them all the advice they needed and how to do it. And because of him, they were able to develop and move forward. So you have to have people who are knowledgeable and both who are able to work in that environment, who are skilled in these areas, not that we just all of a sudden get some sincere people together. We've done that before in our society, and the farms have started and they've had ended. There's many failed attempts because they weren't prepared to understand what was needed, nor were they equipped to have the people who were able to guide it and do it.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I saw that movie. It was quite long, but I watched it all the way through because I wanted to really see how they did it. And it took 7 years for that turnaround to happen, for biodiversity to happen, for it to actually become that harmonious environment they wanted. So it's, yes, only a person who knows all these things, like that person who guided them, can guide the project. You have to have that know-how to guide it.
And his whole little thing was animals. You have to bring animals in.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Well, yeah, there's many devotees who are adepts in these things, who are good guides, but you have to have committed people, and you also have proper guidance, proper intelligence, and how to use it. And you also have to be patient. It takes time. We do have farms that are already in progress and that are developed to a certain level. These are examples of success on a certain level of development. We can learn from these.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Namrata Mataji, you have a question.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, we asked few of the devotees, and there's a question that what is the greatest type of fear for us? So some of the devotees, they say that offense is the greatest fear, and some of the devotees say losing human life is a greatest fear. Some of them say that losing the love of God, Supreme God, is the greatest fear. So there were little confusions. If you can clear it up.
Well, all of these reasons are interdependent.
Mm-hmm.
Losing human life means losing Krishna's mercy. Obviously, that's connected. The sense of development. To get human life is rare. Offenses cause one to fall from their position in spiritual life and have to, again, struggle to get up and ameliorate their offenses. So all of these are what we say definitions of different types of fear.
So in
People in the material world are fearing that there are going to be food shortages, there are going to be power shortages. That's their biggest fear, because they're all dependent on them. So fear comes in different ways. Prabhupada makes the point very adamantly that everyone, no matter who they are, has some element of fear. To become completely fearless is a very high state of consciousness.
So, Guru Maharaj, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna assures that if you are practicing Bhakti Yoga, then at least in next life, you wherever you stop, you will continue that in the next life. So, at least the promising thing is human life in the next birth to continue the um, next life. So, and when I read in 2.40 that the greatest type of fear mentioned there is losing the human life.
Yeah. Meha Brikmanasto Steve Pratyavayana Vidyate Swapamati Siddharnasya Jayate Mahapodaya. That's the verse. Yeah. Because then for so long, then you have to traverse in the lower species and again come back up to the human species.
So then how does it apply for the practicing devotee if Krishna is promising the human life to practice? Is it possible for the practicing devotee to lose his human life?
No, not generally. It's anyone who's engaged in devotion or service. Generally, they're guaranteed a human life in the next birth. That's pretty much guaranteed. But you know where you are, who you are, what is your situation. The Prabhupada very clearly emphasizes that this is a concessionary thing. It's not something that we should depend on. The thing is, he says, whatever has stopped you from reaching perfection in this life, you'll have to face it again in your next life. Why not overcome it now? No, don't depend on this default program of, well, I'll get another life and I can try again. You should try your best to become self-realized and fully Krishna conscious. Then if you fail from that point, then you get another chance. But not that you think, well, you know, even if I don't make it, it's okay. It's not okay. Now is the only time. Don't postpone. You can't postpone self-realization to another time. And what's the guarantee you're going to get a better situation than the next one? Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of demons.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. There is a question on chat by Rishabh Prabhu. He's asking, Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and you, Gurudev. Regarding chanting more and more, today we heard a Srila Prabhupada's lecture from 1976, where he mentions we can't imitate Haridas Thakur by chanting the whole day if we are not chanting without offense. We in the beginning level need physical engagement. When we become expert preachers, we will be able to chant the holy name without offenses. In the class, it was mentioned that at the point in the conversation with the spiritual master, we increase the number of our rounds. How does this relate to trying to chant more and more? Just wondering.
Well, you have your prescribed rounds, but you can always chant more. Why not? The principle, the highest principle is to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. There's 64 rules and regulations that make up the execution of bhakti. But all 64 become automatically, let me say, done, accomplished by these two rules. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And the easiest and most, what we say, recommended way is to chant. That way you can remember Krishna always. So Prabhupada said 16 rounds on the beads, innumerable rounds off the beads. Means you can chant with your mind anytime. Hate karo kaje mukhi bolo hari. So just remember Krishna. If you want to do more prescribed rounds, like we have our 3-day there, she chants 34 rounds a day or something. She's done that as a prescribed duty. That's a decision that you have to understand, make, and then can stick to. It's not something you can just do and go in and out whenever you feel like it. So we recommend sometimes devotees who want to increase their japa in a regular way, they increase 1 or 2 rounds every once in a while, rather than moving up to higher and higher numbers. But you can always chant throughout the day, whether you have beads or not. And that allows you to remember Krishna always. That's one of the easiest ways. But if you want to make a numerical value add increase, then you have to understand, well, I'm going to do everything I can to keep that down. And it's not something, well, you get really, like Vishwanath Chakravarti talks about that. People get fired up about spiritual life and they want to increase. So they get into this big increase and they can't maintain it, and then they fall from it. Because it on again, off again, back and forth. And that's unsteady bhakti. It's not steady bhakti. And so 16 rounds a minimum for those who are initiated and those who are aspiring to be initiated also. And then if you want to increase, then do it gradually. But you can always chant anytime, off the beats. Like I chant 20 rounds a day. I've been doing it for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades. But I'm not going to go past 20. I'm not interested in trying to add more numbers into it, because I can, with all my responsibilities and services, 20 rounds I can do. I do 16 rounds in the morning and find time throughout the day to put in those last 4 rounds. I'm happy with it. And then I try to remember Krishna throughout the day. So that's a very practical proposal. Chant your prescribed rounds. If you want to do a few extra, add them on. Find some time during the day when you can do it. And then, just like during the lockdown, we weren't able to travel so much. We weren't able to interact so much. So I was chanting 32 rounds a day during the lockdown. But then as my service started to increase again, as all of the restrictions started to fall away, then I dropped it down to 28 and went to 24 and then eventually back to 20. So it was done simply because of the situation. So increase exponentially and not whimsically.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Maharaj, I don't see any questions, any hand raises.
Stick around, there's someone there who has a question, but they're thinking about it.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah. So Maharaj, while others are thinking, I have one question, so we try to go to the programs and mostly engage in Krishna conscious activities whenever possible, try not to miss any programs. But sometimes, as we are grihasthas and living in these cities, so we have to choose the material things when we given a choice. Sometimes not to go to the temple, or sometimes skip a program. So how should our mood be in that time, Maharaj? Like, is it okay, or what we are doing is like we're not able to do 100%?
You have to decide how to do it. How much you can do. That's up to you. Every situation needs to be seen in total. Now, we don't have a particular formula for everyone to follow. Formula is, you make sure you keep your spiritual life foremost, and your material life will be fall in place easier. If you keep your material life foremost, then you're going to struggle both materially and spiritually. That's why the morning hours are designated for sadhana. Reading, chanting, worshiping. This is all done in the early part of the day. The rest of the day, you might have family affairs to take care of, occupational responsibility. But if you don't use those early morning hours, then you're going to struggle.
Mhm. Yes, Maharaj.
Those early morning hours are conducive to spiritual practice.
Scarlett Mataji is asking. Okay, yeah.
Who wants to chat now?
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, I can do 2 more rounds. I was gonna do 2 more rounds to complete my 20, something like that. I can do it. Okay, I'm happy. Shilpesh, I know you have a question. When are you gonna ask me?
Devotees, yes, Silpesh Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada. I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Seemed like you were thinking about it.
I mean, I just wanted to hear again what you said about chanting on and off the beads. Can you just repeat that again?
Yeah, your prescribed rounds is on the beads, and off the beads means whatever you're doing, you're working, you're walking around, you're washing dishes, or you're cleaning the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I needed to hear.
Going to the store, chant. You're at your workplace, chant as much as you can. If you become proficient in chanting, then after some time you can chant internally more and more. And then even though you're doing so many things, you're not so much audible in your sound. You're chanting within your heart and mind. And of course, that takes some development, but practice it.
So it's okay sometimes to chant silently.
Not on the beats,
No, not on the beat, but just, when you're doing other things.
Somehow remember Krishna, that's the principle.
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Maharaj.
Somehow remember Krishna.
Somehow remember Krishna, yes.
Sometimes you forget Krishna, and then all of a sudden you drop something on your foot, and you say, "Oh, Krishna," and you say, "Oh, thank you. Now I can remember you gave me that mercy." Somehow remember Krishna. Yena kena prakrena mana Krishna nidesaya. Somehow I remember Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Set the time, not just sometimes. Always. Okay, I'll be right back.
Sridhar Mataji raised hand. Mataji, you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Guru Maharaj, this rounds off the beads that you mentioned, that when you're doing something, you chant Hare Krishna in your mind. But supposing we are deeply involved in some service and we are putting all our concentration, all our focus on doing that service nicely,
It's nice.
how we can at the same time be chanting in our mind?
Yeah, when you start Krishna consciousness, it's all about the service. As you develop, it's all about Krishna.
Mhm.
Still serving, but Krishna becomes your focus. You think of Krishna. You think of ways. You keep pictures of Krishna everywhere to remind you of what Krishna consciousness is all about. It's about Krishna. Everything centers around Krishna. Krishna is the goal.
Mhm. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you. Dear devotees, I just want to announce tomorrow's class. Tomorrow, Thursday, March 7th, class will be with Harrisburg devotees. The verse number is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 19 chapter, 33 verse, 1.19.33. And the time we'll be going back to our regular time, that is 12 p.m. UK time and 7 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, I think we can chant a couple of rounds with Maharaj and then end the call. Thank you.
I should mention that tomorrow we'll be back on the regular schedule at 12 noon. Just today
Yes.
was a little thing. That's
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
And tomorrow, I believe, is Ekadasi.
For us, it is today in US. In India also, it is today, I heard. Oh,
No, it's the
Okay.
7th. The 7th is the Ekadasi date in India.
It's tomorrow. Guru Maharaj is right.
Yeah, tomorrow.
yeah. Okay. For us, it is in US, it is in today, Maharaj.
Mhm. Okay. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasa Vidura Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama. Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Lord, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll all see you again tomorrow. You can end the call here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare
Thank